time I was live on this channel, my live got shut down halfway through, especially during some truth bombing moments. So, fingers crossed that this is going to be all right, because we're going to talk about some truth bombs today as well. If you've ever wondered about a giant blackout potential situation happening on planet Earth, that's what I'm going to cover today. Just a reminder, I am a remote viewer, and specifically where I gained access to this information is through remote viewing the most probable situations connected to the collective consciousness on planet Earth. Please keep in mind that there is no psychic who could ever be 100% correct. And the reason why is because we are simply tapping into future probabilities and timelines. In this weird quantum world, all timelines are existing simultaneously, and it is truly up to the free will of both the individual and the collective to determine where we go from here. Now, this is a very important statement to make because we're also going to be talking about a brand new TV show that just recently came out that triggered the topic that I'm talking about today. And I want to talk about something called predictive programming, what it is, how it affects us, and how we can essentially thwart predictive programming with our conscious awareness. So we're going to get into all of that. I do have a probability for you, a percentage of what is the most likely chance we are going to get hit with some sort of blackout situation, whether that be through an attack, an agenda, or potentially even a solar flare. So we're going to get into that today. Without further ado, before I get into it, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share this video to other conspiracy theorists or people who are just in your life who are questioning the narrative. I think a lot of people are waking up right now, and it's really nice to have somewhere to go with all of your questions. Not that I have all the answers, but we're getting there. We're working on it. All right. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's talk about predictive programming first and foremost. So there's a new Netflix TV show. It is called 0 Day, and it is essentially about, I don't want to say the word, but let's say a T attack, okay, happening in the United States and it wiping out the power grid, and then like all chaos ensues. I haven't actually seen the show, but I just saw the, I guess, advertisement for it. And immediately I knew what was going on, which is predictive programming. So now, a really great example of predictive programming is The Simpsons, right? In so many ways, they have quote unquote predicted so many different, very weird moments that we have walked through. And so we can look back and say, wow, the writers of The Simpsons, they must be psychic, or they must be intuitive, or they must be picking up on something. However, when we start to understand the manipulation of society and what predictive programming really is, we actually reverse the entire thinking that they are predicting the future. And we start to realize that they're actually, in a sense, writing the future. Okay? We all know TV, television, what is it called? It's called television programming. And the elites, or the powers that were, have utilized this programming as their greatest propaganda tactic to essentially write out what they want us to co-create. One of the biggest laws in the universe, and likewise one of the biggest laws on planet Earth, is the law of non-intervention. So as much as the elites and the deep state would love to intervene, would love to step in, would love to force us into things like war, or believing that there are sides to this world, or that, we're not just all human and that we all have these own individual identifications and I'm different than you because I identify with a million different things. It's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. There is no separation, right? But they are leading us to believe that. And TV and television programming is the perfect way to manipulate our consciousness into creating the reality we see. Okay? The biggest thing that this elite agenda, conspiracy, this group of individuals, they have to abide by this law of non-intervention. And the way that they manipulate that and get around it is by feeding us information. And through feeding us information, we then therefore accept that information. And through accepting or believing that information, we project it into our reality. We create it. They cannot force us into anything. We have to agree to it. And this is where they utilize television and entertainment. And unfortunately, all of the celebrities, which are really just their pawns, their puppets, it's pretty sad. They force us into co-creating what they want through these programs. And when I saw this TV show, this 0 Day, which was about essentially the entire electrical grid going down in America, I immediately realized and saw it for what it is. This is predictive programming. So then I had to tap into it. All right, what's really going on? What really is their plan? Okay. And there's definitely a plan here. Now, there's sort of two things that are happening simultaneously. There is the true thing that is happening, okay, which is we're getting hit with more and more solar flares. We're going into a solar maximum. There's a really good chance and possibility that a big solar flare could take out our electrical system or short circuit, essentially things on planet Earth. That would be more of a localized sort of blackout, but we're going to get to that. And then there's sort of the agenda of, oh, sorry guys, yeah, this was an attack from a neighboring country, which could potentially spawn war, or it could just simply create chaos, which is what they want. They want us in fear. They want us essentially co-creating the next big war as well, okay? So yeah, keeping all of that in mind, this is sort of part of their plan. All right, so I'm just going to go over my notes here. Yeah, so once again, there are an infinite number of timelines, so please keep that in mind. I took a look at the likelihood of a planned attack, all right? Specifically, the likelihood of a planned blackout attack. Who knows who they would blame? It really doesn't matter. It's going to create chaos. It's going to create dismantlement. And I saw the reason why, the main reason why they would want to create that. Once again, please keep an open mind. An infinite number of timelines, we can change anything. And actually, before I get to the percentage of likelihood that there is going to be a blackout like this, I just want to mention the only reason why I wanted to talk about this 0 Day and this predictive programming, it's not to further feed into that narrative. It's so that you can enjoy things like cheesy reality TV or this programming, because I do too. You can enjoy it, but enjoy it with a very open mind. Enjoy it by understanding what their plan is. Their plan only works if we are unaware of it, right? If we are only just allowing information into our subconscious, we are then co-creating this reality through our subconscious. If we are consciously showing up to the programs and television and the information input, then we can never be manipulated because we're just too consciously aware. So that's why I also wanted to bring this up. I just wanted to bring your awareness around it. You can watch the TV show without feeding into it by just being aware of what their plan is with it and not attaching to it or allowing it to subtly reside in your subconscious and create a fear, okay? All right, good. So, what I saw is a 60% likely chance of a planned blackout in the next 5 years, specifically in the United States. So yeah, I mean, we know that shit is going down big time here specifically, and in other places, but this is what I looked into. 60% likely chance that over the next 5 years, this is going to be one of their agendas, one of their plans. It really felt like it was one of their last ditch efforts. Like it really felt like this was one of their sort of, oh shit, we're losing control. And then they do that. Okay, so it's a control technique. Yeah, and then exactly what I said. I wrote down here in my notes, shut everything down to swoop in with control. So it felt like if they felt like they were losing control over the population or they were losing control over the systems that run this old Earth system, this planet, by shutting down the electrical system, it's like, oops, where did all that money go? I don't know. We shut it down. Like basically by dismantling everything for that time period, they're able to regain control and say, oh, well, this new system is going to be better, right? It's part of that 2030 agenda. So I thought that was really fascinating. It's really just for more control. Part of it is chaos, part of it is fear, maybe part of it is depopulation. That's always sort of a part of their plan. But the main core of it is to take back over the systems and to expedite some of their plans that they have not been able to push through. I also saw, okay, a little bit of good news. If it gets to that point, I did see that this plan will backfire on them, whether that be people waking up, whether that be just the plan itself not going the way that they wanted to. It just feels like, and it's kind of similar, like they stick their foot in their mouth all the time, right? Their plans always backfire on them in one way or another. So I guess there's a little caveat there. All right, cool. Let's talk about solar flares because, back in 2011, when I first met the Galactic Federation and I had that meeting inside the moon, which I know sounds crazy, one of the things that they talked about that I never even considered was that there was going to be this wave of energy, and the wave of energy was going to take out the grid, okay, take out the electrical system on planet Earth. And that is the day that I became a prepper. And so it's like I started doing a little bit of research, right? Like it was kind of like this 3 days of darkness. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a biblical thing. Like this feels like it's biblical. Like the Bible, religions talk about this, but why would the Galactic Federation be talking about this? So I learned about the potential of a solar flare a very long time ago, over a decade ago now. Wow, it's just so crazy how time flies. And so I've been monitoring this for quite some time, and I've been talking with the Galactic Federation about this for quite some time. Obviously, if you ever tune into my summits, you'll know that this is an area of discussion. All right, before we get to the likelihood of a solar flare affecting us in this way, in this capacity to create a blackout situation, I have just two things I want to mention. Tomorrow, I have my season 2025, episode 3, okay, the March episode of my Galactic Federation Summit, and we are going deep tomorrow. I'm going to be asking about a lot of things. I'm going to say the words because I'm just going to say them because I'm not afraid. But if you can't find this video, just head on over to my website in case it's taken down. But a couple of the questions we're going to be asking, I'm going to be asking them tomorrow at the Galactic Federation Summit. I'm going to be asking them, where is the reptilian battle currently at? I know that there's a lot that are in these underground sort of tunnel systems on planet Earth. Are they still there? Like, kind of like the root of the agendas going on, the root of this battle on planet Earth. I'm going to be asking about heavy metals and consciousness. Are we still able to raise our frequency even if we're full of heavy metals? I think that's really important. I'm also going to be asking about Christ consciousness. When are we going to be accessing this Christ consciousness frequency? And then also child trafficking. I mean, where are we at right now in general, human trafficking on planet Earth? What can we do to help? Where is that currently at? And then it's been a very long time since I've asked about this. Adrenochrome. I think we last checked in with Queen Elizabeth, believe it or not, and she was kind of the head of this whole weird ritual blood type of gross thing. And I have not asked since then. That was what, 2021 or something? So I'm interested to see where this sort of deep underground blood market is. And I think that this directly ties into trafficking. So if you want to get dark, if you want to get deep, if you want to know what the F is going on, check out tomorrow's Galactic Federation Summit, or tune in if you're watching this much later, season 2025, episode 3, to get all of those answers. Okay. Oh, yeah. And then one more thing. If you are a prepper or you want to start prepping, or you're like, holy shit, 60% is a large percentage, which it is, then check out my Amazon prepping list. It's my survival list. It doesn't have everything on there because Amazon is limited, but everything there is what I have. It includes Faraday bags. It includes solar power flashlights. It includes a little bit of food storage, but mostly you want to go over to My Patriot Supply. I'm not an affiliate. I just love their stuff. So yeah, I do highly recommend backup generators, solar power everything, and just a couple of essentials on there that you may never thought of. I've been a prepper for a long time, and I'm not a professional by any means, but check out that Amazon list if you're like, I wonder if the grid were to go down. It's not about fearing the worst case and feeding it. It's just about feeling prepared and saying, cool, bring it on, planet. You're about to shut down. Like, I'm good to go. You know what I mean? It's about preventing the fear if a worst case scenario were to happen. All right, so let's talk solar flares. What did I say? Okay, so in the next 5 years, I saw about an 80% chance that we're going to get hit with a large enough solar flare where it knocks out some of our electrical functionality. All right. Now, please keep in mind, so we're probably looking at like an X10 or more. If you guys follow solar flares, there's a really great app that I use. It's called Space Weather Live. Highly, highly, highly recommend. It's a little bit old school, but it'll give you all the information on solar flares. Anyway, and so I saw that there's about an 80% likelihood that there's a big enough solar flare that it affects our electrical grid. However, a little bit of good news. I do not see it shutting down the entire planet's electrical grid, so no big deal there. And what I picked up on was that it was going to be a localized blackout. And if you really think about it, the way that the planet is situated, moving around the sun, and then the way that the planet is spinning, all affects which area of the planet is getting hit with the solar flare. The area on the planet that I saw getting hit and getting affected was actually South America, believe it or not, which could actually creep into North America. But yeah, so I saw that that was going to be the localized area, so which can be really detrimental, especially to developing countries, just because they're just starting to rely on those things, right? On like, different technologies and thrive. So, I mean, I think no matter who it affects, it's detrimental. So anyway, that's what I saw. As always, an infinite number of timelines. Please take or leave any of this. And that's all I gotta say. So please keep in mind, be aware of things like predictive programming, be aware of, big named actors and world events that they're trying to sort of put out there and, anchor into our subconscious mind. As long as you're consciously aware of what they're doing and how they're doing it, they cannot affect you. So what I recommend is putting out as many, it sounds so woo-woo, but good vibes, harmony, rebuilding unity and peace energy for the planet. That's how we can really thwart their plans and rise above and utilize our consciousness for the collective good. As always, thank you so much for being here. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, share to those who are also questioning, and subscribe if you haven't already. Bye for now.